The rain had been falling for hours that morning, soft and persistent, the kind that makes the whole world look like it's wrapped in glass. I was sitting by the window of a small coffee shop downtown, one of those places that smelled like old books and espresso beans. I wasn't supposed to be there. I was supposed to be at work, typing reports I didn't care about, in a life that felt smaller every day. But something about that morning felt different. Maybe it was the weather, or maybe it was just that quiet ache inside me, the feeling that something in my life needed to change, even if I didn't know what or how. I had no idea that change would arrive holding a paper cup and a smile. Before we dive into this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Universe, where every story reminds us that small moments can change entire lives. She appeared behind the counter, like she belonged in another world. A soft kind of beauty, not loud or showy, but the kind that made you look twice. Her name tag said Mia, and when she caught me staring, she smiled. Not in that fake customer service way, but like she actually saw Rough Morning? She asked as she handed me the menu. Something like that, I replied, trying to sound casual, but my voice cracked slightly. Then let's fix that, she said, grinning. How special. My treat. I laughed under my breath. You don't even know what I like. Coffee is coffee, she said with a shrug. But kindness is personal. That line stuck with me long after I took my first sip. Her coffee was perfect, warm, strong, balanced, and so was her presence. She moved behind the counter with this quiet confidence, humming a song I didn't recognize, wiping tables with little dances between her steps. I came back the next day, then the next, and the next after that. At first it was just coffee, but slowly it became conversation. She started asking questions, not small talk, but the kind that made you think. What scares you the most? What's something you wish you'd done sooner? What does happiness even look like to you? Nobody had ever asked me things like that, not in years. And for the first time, I realized how lonely I'd become, surrounded by people who only talked about deadlines and paychecks. Mia wasn't just being friendly, she was seeing me, and it scared me more than I wanted to admit. Weeks passed, her laugh became the highlight of my day. I started leaving work early just to catch her before closing. But one day, I noticed something different. She seemed tired. Her eyes, usually bright and alive, looked heavy, shadowed. When I asked if she was okay, she brushed it off with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. I'm fine, just long nights. But the way she said it told me it was something else. That night when I went home, I couldn't stop thinking about her. About how someone who brought light to everyone else might be carrying so much darkness inside. So the next day, I did something I'd never done before. I showed up for her. I brought her a small notebook with a quote scribbled on the first page, "You make the world a little brighter, even when you can't see it yourself." She stared at the note for a long time, and then without a word, she hugged me. It wasn't a casual hug. It was the kind that said, "I needed this more than you know." A few days later, something strange happened. I walked in as usual, but she wasn't behind the counter. Another barista was there, someone I'd never seen before. "Mia's not working today," he said. "She had to take some time off." Something inside me tightened. I left without ordering anything. That night felt longer than any I could remember. I tried to distract myself, but everything reminded me of her. Her laugh, the way she'd draw little hearts in my coffee foam, the way she'd say my name like it meant something. The next morning, I went back, hoping to see her again. And there she was, but her smile was smaller. This time, "I didn't think you'd notice I was gone," she said softly. "Of course I noticed." She nodded, looking down at the counter. Then she whispered, "I've been sick. Nothing serious, just stuff I need to handle." Something in her tone told me it was more than that. Still, I didn't push. I just listened, and sometimes that's all people need. Not answers, not advice, just someone willing to stay. As days turned into weeks, I realized what she had become to me. She wasn't just a barista. She wasn't just a kind stranger. She was proof that even the smallest human connection could bring someone back to life. One rainy evening, almost like the first day we met, I walked in just as she was closing up. The lights were dim and soft music played from her phone. She smiled when she saw me. "You're late." "Traffic," I said, lying. The truth was, I'd stood outside for 10 minutes trying to find the courage to say what I really felt. We talked about nothing for a while. The weather, favorite movies, silly things. But there was something different in her eyes tonight. A kind of quiet resolve. She turned around, made me my usual coffee, and handed it to me with a grin. "Here," she said, "one last on the house." I frowned. "Last?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she took a pen and started writing something on the side of my cup. Then, she slid it across the counter and whispered, "For when you need another reason to smile." I looked down. Her number was written there, along with 3 small words that made my heart skip. "Don't forget me." When I looked up, she was gone, vanished into the rain outside. I tried calling, I tried texting, nothing. The number worked, but she never replied. Weeks passed and the world kept moving, but part of me stayed frozen in that cafe, holding that cup like it contained the last piece of my heart. Then one day, a letter arrived. No return address, just my name scrawled across the envelope in her handwriting. Inside, there was a short note. "Thank you for reminding me what it feels like to be seen. I had to leave for treatment. I don't know how long it'll take, but your kindness gave me something to fight for. Don't stop smiling for strangers. Someone out there needs it as much as I did." I sat there reading it over and over, tears blurring the words. I realized then she hadn't disappeared. She'd given me something far more permanent than her presence. She'd given me purpo. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Universe. Your support helps us keep spreading stories that remind the world kindness still matters. Years have passed since that day. I still visit that coffee shop sometimes. There's a new barista now, and the place feels different. But sometimes, when it rains, and I see the reflection of the window fog up, I swear I can still hear her voice, soft, warm, and alive in my memory. And every time I hold a paper cup, I look for handwriting. Because somewhere, out there, kindness still writes its name on the smallest things, reminding us that no meeting is ever random, and no smile is ever wasted.